My best friend's sister tried to steal his inheritance, so I ruined her reputation.
Dang. You go for the money and you get caught in the throat.
I, gay, 57 male, have known my best friend Harry, gay, 64 male, for 40 years. He is disabled and his health is deteriorating, but still manages to work from home at a minimum wage job. His partner, Nathan, male 58, works 30 hours per week so he can spend a little extra time taking care of the household chores and caring for my friend. We all live in an outrageously expensive city, so the best apartment they can afford to rent is small and a bit of a dump. By the way, this comes from Juvdel, and if you want to submit your own stories, just go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. My friend's parents both passed within the last 2 years, and he's been desperately looking forward to the inheritance he's about to get. That, combined with his retirement savings next year, will be enough for him to purchase a moderately decent apartment out in the suburbs where he can spend his retirement years. Probably not many left. Dang. That's tough. Last week, his two older sisters, Mary, 69, and Rachel, 67, came to visit him. Rachel is fairly well known as a prominent figure in the environmental movement and has a great reputation as a tree-hugging hippie who has been arrested numerous times for her activism. A very peace, love, hugs, and rainbows kind of woman. Anyway, when they turned up, he thought it would be with notice of his imminent inheritance money. Well, it was, but not in the way he expected. They jointly told him that they had decided that all the family money would go to Rachel and her 3 children. He wasn't sure if they were joking, but still gave them a what the actual heck. Apparently because it was family money and neither he nor Mary had children, then to ensure the money stayed in the family, it should just be passed on to the next generation. He was absolutely shocked and said that it wasn't family money, it was his money, and that he did have family, his partner of 20 years, Nathan. Crap got even worse when they said, yeah, but he's Asian, and when you pass away, he'll just go back to Asia and spend the money on his family. Oh boy, bringing in other problems into this, oh boy. Remember, this is our family money, they continued. My best friend then rather sharply pointed out the concepts of racism, homophobia, and the law. They got crappy because he wasn't being reasonable and respectful, but he bluntly said that he would sue their butts if they failed to give him even 1 cent short of his third of the money. At that point, they parted on rather bad terms.
Not ideal.
So this is where I come into it. I am a hurt me and you're looking for trouble, hurt my best friend and I will burn your world to the ground kind of guy. It's been almost 2 weeks, and while he's simply refusing to speak to her, I'm still absolutely raging that Rachel is now going back to her life into the political community without anyone knowing what a total B move she tried on my friend. I believe her outrageous behind-the-scenes politics should be publicly known, easily done by messaging her 356 Facebook friends. To me, that would be true justice for her entitlement, racism, and homophobia. Would it be overkill, though? And there is an update, but I don't know. I think they should try to have more conversations in person about this. And I mean, I know they have a little bit, but dang, man. What's the point of having money for the family if the family can't use it? You know what I mean? Like, sure, I guess these future kids can use the money and that's what she's like wanting to have happen. But also, it's like OP is still part of the family. OP and Mary are still part of the family. They deserve to have the money too. They deserve to have a piece of that pie and enjoy it and use it for whatever they need just as much as the other kids, you know? What's the point of having it stay in the family if the family can't even use it and enjoy it and use it for what they need? But I digress. But there is an update, so let's get on into it. Update. Good news and bad news. Mary has switched sides and now supports Harry. As Mary doesn't have children, she's always doted on Rachel's, her nephews and nieces. She's supported them financially, given them great gifts, and even taken them to Europe on vacation. She says that while she did go to his house to persuade him to pass on the money to the children, given that Harry doesn't have kids, he would see reason that it was the right thing to do. She had zero idea that Rachel would go down the give the money to me because you don't have family and Nathan doesn't count because he's Asian road. Mary was horrified, but as she hates confrontation in groups of people, didn't say anything at the time. I think we're all horrified by that. After they left, Mary told Rachel she was completely out of line and now believed that Harry should get his full share. Rachel didn't budge, so Mary phoned Harry to apologize for what happened and said that he now has her full support. As Rachel realizes she can't just demand the money, she's now going to take the legal road instead. She's going to put a claim against his share of the will because he didn't give her any support during the final 4 years while she was the primary carer. Her life, her government careers allowance, both her parents' retirement pensions, full access to their bank account, which she drained of tens of thousands of dollars, financial support from her sister and wealthy son, physical support from the rest of the family when she needed it, and taking well-earned short vacations whenever she needed a break. Wow, what a lucky lady. Oh, man. Him, hooked up to dialysis 8 hours per day, organ transplant with 3 months recovery, working at his laptop, sitting in his hospital bed because he can't afford to take time off. Told by specialists never to be more than a 30-minute ambulance ride from a specific hospital, meaning that he can never leave this city, even for a day, for the rest of his life. Not a lot of wiggle room for providing financial or physical support in a small town 500 miles away in a different state. When Rachel informed Mary she would go the legal route, Mary was furious and immediately phoned Harry to warn him. I went to my law firm on Harry's request at 9 a.m. Monday morning. I gave them full details of everyone involved, the properties, all Rachel's financial resources as above, and details of the conversation where she expressed in comments how this is not a change of attitude, but a change of strategy. The lawyers are all set. Their specialty is fighting off these kinds of families trying to steal the inheritance of LGBTQ people.
What?
That's very specific.
That is a very niche law firm. I've never heard of that before.
But I guess it's a bigger problem than...
Dude, imagine finding out that problem and then just making millions of dollars. You ask for like 3% of whatever's saved and then boom, you get it.
You're set. He just smiled and said, "We are going to get him every cent he's owed and bleed her dry in financial costs in the process." That's what you want to hear from a lawyer. So the upshot of it all, Mary is no longer speaking to Rachel and has told the nieces and nephews what their mother is trying to do. Harry says that he will never have anything to do with her again, and she can fry in heck for doing this. I'll take that as permission to go scorched earth nuclear on her after the court case has been settled. I guess in the meantime, I'll move in the shadows. I did send her a message. "Rachel, you seem to have forgotten that Harry has another family member, his best friend of 40 years. While you are trying to take everything from him, I will give everything to protect him. I stole my disabled brother's inheritance because he's gay and has an Asian boyfriend. May get you a cheer at a MAGA convention, but can you imagine how that sentence would sound in our world? Imagine how the 200 people would have reacted if you had got up with a microphone and announced that at your 60th birthday party that I attended. Go down this road and you will lose your brother forever and disgust everyone in your entire extended family, especially your own children. To get to him, you will have to go through me and my law firm. Regards, Harry's pet Rottweiler, Jerry." And there is an update, another update, but dang.
Pride versus family.
That's an impressive clapback. I like that one.
Dude, I'm still impressed with the law firm.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't realize that was such a lucrative issue. There is another update. I sent that message to Rachel privately with just a veiled threat to go public if she kept pursuing this course of action. The thing with entitled people, though, is that sometimes they are so delusional that they believe that they are the victims. She has now forwarded the message I sent to her to some of our mutual acquaintances, including her own children, to show them what a bee I am. But wait! I point out what a trash can of a sister you are, but you're telling people that I'm the nasty one? So now those people are messaging me to confirm that the letter I sent was real and that the situation is exactly as I made it out to be. I'm simply responding, yes, it's all true. Desperately restraining myself from elaborating any further as I don't want to complicate the situation or encourage more people to get involved. So much for me ruining her life. She seems fairly intent on doing it herself.
Dang.
And there is yet another update.
What do they call that? The self-destruction button? She just went, As soon as she hit the forward button, self-destruction.
That's so satisfying that she thought that this clapback was going to hurt her.
Nope, he's playing 4D chess without even trying.
Yeah, it just explains perfectly what happened. Got her in trouble. But there is another update. Let's get on into it.
John, you've been dancing a lot.
I'm going to give you a live demonstration and you're going to see it too.
Show me those hips. Oh, damn. That is a good move. But you know what is also an amazing move?
What is that, Sam?
Becoming an OK Storytime member.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Well, let's get back to the story.
I think actions and consequences might finally be hitting home. She replied to my message with, "What a terrible thing to do to me on election day." Wait, that's the worst part of all of this? And she continues, "I understand you care about Harry. Nice. But what you said is inappropriate and untrue. Don't ever send me a message like this again." Let's see. From Rachel's perspective, this is family money, and you don't have a family, so it should come to me. Harry's perspective, I do have family. His name is Nathan, and we've been together for 20 years. Rachel, yeah, but when you pass away, he'll go back to Asia and spend the money on his Asian family, so it should come to me and my family instead. I've known her for 40 years, and I've never heard her say anything remotely like this before. And yes, she truly is a peace-loving, tree-hugging hippie. That doesn't change the fact that I've also known her to always feel entitled. Perhaps she just doesn't realize it because she usually gets what she wants, and people are often happy to give it because she generally is a lovely person.
Tree hugging hippies. I love trees too.
You just cut them up.
Yeah, I'd use them for business. We plant them back. I promise. Yeah. Some of them, unless it's on farm land, unless they make it for farmland or to build a home in the county I'm from.
Interesting.
Because that would be so stupid. You get money off the timber of the land. Why would you cut it and not replant it? Do you not like money? If you're not using the land for anything, you might as well just plant it back and then get a reinvestment in that in 20 years from now. Like, that's stupid.
True businessman over here, ladies and gentlemen. But when this amount of money is at stake and she's told no, I guess she just went into a spiral. Now she thinks that she'll be punishing me by forwarding the message to Harry so that he'll realize what a nasty person his best friend is. I can just imagine the smile on his face when he reads it and his coming response to me, "Oh, you are awful." And that's what I love about you. Add, I didn't respond to her and I don't intend to. She knows where she stands with me now and I have no interest in dealing with her again. Should she go down that road, though, as the saying goes, I'll see you in court. And update number 4. We just got endless updates for you. Oh, my goodness. Rachel has crashed and burned. Woohoo! And as I suspected from the start, the one thing she values more than money is her reputation. After forwarding my personal email to a few mutual acquaintances to show them how nasty I am, of course, it then spread like wildfire. Her children immediately messaged Harry and said that they were horrified by her actions and the fact that she had said that she was doing it for the family. They had no foreknowledge of this and assured him that they wouldn't let it happen. They also know how entitled their mother can be, so they knew that I would never make those accusations if they weren't true. The one I'm closest to phoned me up to keep me up to date with the fallout. When questioned by dozens of people if she really was trying to steal her brother's money, Rachel's prepared response was, "No, we had an agreement that if I looked after our parents, he would leave me his inheritance. He landed on that agreement." Then there was a follow-up question. But if he really is disabled and about to become homeless, then why wouldn't you just let him have it anyway? Realizing she was backed into a corner, there was only one way out. Of course I'm going to give it to him. That was all just a misunderstanding.
Uh-oh, backpedaling.
And finally, who is this Jerry and why is he accusing you of being racist and homophobic? She replied, "Yes, he's a friend of Harry's, but he's nasty and a bit mentally unstable. He just concocted all this as a part of his vendetta against me. So all done." She publicly renounced her claim to Harry's money, and although she's refuted the accusations of being racist and homophobic, I have no doubt that they are going to haunt her to the grave. And if a random bunch of people I'll never meet now believe that some random guy on Facebook is nasty and mentally unstable, then so be it. I'll wear it with pride. And guess what? We've got yet another update.
I know this is going to be a Rachel, but can she go any lower? Like,
Yeah, maybe this is just a full 180 and she'll actually come around and be a better person.
I doubt that. Her reputation is too high to do that. How much is at stake here? Do we know how much money OP is going to be getting?
Don't think so. Update number 5. My last post 2 months ago said, final update. I thought the whole crap storm was over. I thought I had crushed Rachel and her entitlement, and that Harry was free to live out his life in peace. But apparently, her entitlement is of such epic proportions that she's gone in for another round. It turns out that the B-troll from heck has just been laying low while she went to a financial advisor and has had a lawyer send Harry a detailed account for the money he owes her with a threat to sue if he doesn't. Oh, wow. That's intense, man. That's intense.
Just raising the bar here.
Again, she doesn't have a legal leg to stand on. You can't claim retrospectively that a person made a verbal financial contract with you. So it's not that I'm afraid for Harry financially. It's just that I cannot comprehend the sheer audacity of it. I have never thought of this before because I have never considered what I did was a burden in any way to me. But what this whole incident has done, though, is trigger a repressed grudge I've held against her for over 30 years. Harry and I were roommates back in the 90s. One day, she turned up at our door with her oldest child, male 16. She had great news. She, or more probably Mary, secured him a scholarship in a private school that specialized in computer science. Fantastic. And how fortunate it was that the school just happened to be in the same city that Harry and I lived in. And how that as gay men, we would now get to experience the great joy of raising a child. And then she swanned off on her merry way with her younger children to travel the country and the world. I was only 24 years old, working night shifts as a nurse, and now caring for a teenager during his 2 senior years of high school as well. But I loved it. He was an amazing teen. I've been using that word since I watched Agatha. Yeah. He was very grown up for his age, very responsible, low maintenance, just like having a new younger roommate. Except that I was paying all the bills. Well, sharing half with Harry. Not my kid, not my nephew, but the son of my best friend's sister. I think OP is Harry's boyfriend.
The gay Asian dude.
Yeah, and I think everyone is just calling him the best friend. But I did it without a thought, and even low-key knew that I was doing him a favor by giving him a better chance at the future than his mother could have. At 18, he moved out with some friends, and I was so proud his high school grades were so great that he got a scholarship to a college where he could further his computer science career. And kind of proud of myself too. The year after the teen graduated, Rachel turns up again with next oldest child, female 16. Great news! She got a scholarship to an arts college for her 2 senior years. So it was really just a carry on as usual. A great time with teen number 2. Me never considering for a moment that it was also at great expense. She did really well in high school and then got to do a dream gap year working in Paris and Berlin. Now I've been triggered. Rachel has gone to a lawyer and put this retrospective financial claim for caring for a family member against her brother. But it was her brother and I who looked after her 2 children for 2 years each, working our butts off to cover rent, bills, food, and school expenses while she was living off the Social Security single mother benefit and their father's child support.
What?
That's messed up. Wow. I'm sure they could get a lawyer to fight that.
They have to. They be getting a piece of that cake. Can you sue someone that's on, like, Social Security, though?
Maybe, if you got a really good lawyer. Not for being on Social Security, but probably for, like, you know, making them, like, care for her child while she's getting the single mother benefits, or at least like revoking the single mother benefits, something. I've looked up several government websites last weekend and used the figures to create an Excel spreadsheet. It costs $13,000 a year to raise a teenager. I paid half of that, so that's $6,500. I did that for 4 years, which comes to $26,000. Oh my goodness. And you know what we've been doing for years? Is make full episodes of more stories just like this one. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcast app, and search OK Storytime. We have so much for you to look at. It's just growing by the hour.
That's right.
But continuing on. So, as my update, I got a copy of the letter Rachel's lawyer sent to Harry. I then went to a lawyer myself today and got him to write a letter using literally the exact same words as she did to claim $26,000 with a threat to sue if she doesn't pay. The lawyer was absolutely stunned and said something to the effect of, you know, this is the most ridiculous letter I've written in my entire career, and then I'm going to have to charge you $1,000 for it. I told him it wasn't about the money. It was worth every cent for the satisfaction of imagining the look on her effing face when she opened it. I haven't told the children and never will, as I would never want them to think that they were a burden on me in any way. However, I'm sure now as adults in their 40s, they would be absolutely horrified to know that their mother was using their child support money to travel the world while I raised them. Just as horrified as they were when they heard that she was bullying Harry for his money. I do hope that Rachel takes this as an implied threat to go public just as I did last time, though. And that is it. Whoa, just ends just like that.